Hey, what is up, guys? It is your boy, Kingdom Soldier, and I'm back again with the Kingdom Story Episode 3. If you guys haven't watched Episodes 1 and 2, I would definitely recommend watching those first. Sorry that there's no face cam today. I could have had a face cam, but I wouldn't have had this video up until tomorrow, and I figured, I told you guys that it was going to be up on Wednesday. I wanted to put it up on Wednesday, so hopefully you guys can enjoy this gameplay. It might seem a little campy, because I don't know what I was going for or why I think I was playing Anchor and my teammates were just doing really good or something like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this hardpoint gameplay. And so the last time we left off, I was in middle school and I was about to get in my first fight. Now, I had never been in a fight before, except for with my brother. We fought all the time. There was actually a time where me and my brother got in a fist fight in the middle of the street. We got in a fight in the house one time at night in our underwear, and we were like pushing the fridge around. And so my mom kicked us out of the house in our underwear. It really sucked. It was late at night. It was like 9 o'clock, and she told us to get out. She said, if you want to fight, you fight outside. Because we had knocked over the microwave or something. And so she put us outside and locked the door. And we stopped fighting, of course, because we just wanted to get back. We both were wearing literally just, I think, our underwear or maybe some hoop shorts or something. And we had gotten in an argument over who got the last slice of bread or something crazy. Remember, I told you guys we were poor. And so, like bologna sandwiches, a lot of times without mayonnaise, was what we ate. I still eat bologna sandwiches without mayonnaise to this day. So me and my brother had gotten in a fight. We got in a couple fights throughout our life, like real ones, where we punched each other and stuff like that. But my first fight was something I was trying to avoid, actually. This guy, Brian, I didn't grow to the height that I am now, which is 6 foot, until I was in college. Well, yeah, until I was in college. I didn't get my growth spurt, and I couldn't dunk until I was 21 years old. So in high school and middle school, I was really short, and some people, because I was shorter than my little brother, who's a year younger than me, called me shorty or short stuff or midget, or they would make fun of me. And Brian was one of those guys, and so Brian one day kept calling me shorty, shorty, shorty. Hey, what's up, shorty? Little man, small stuff, all this kind of stuff. My brother was in 6th grade at the time. I was in 7th grade, so my brother wasn't at the same school as me because middle school was 7th and 8th in California. And I told him, I said, look, stop calling me that. And he said, well, what are you going to do? I was like, I'll meet you after school. And he was like, okay. And I was like, oh, crap. And so because my brother was my best friend and all of my friends and we all hung out together with my brother and me, and it would be some people his age, some people my age. I didn't have a whole bunch of friends when I was in 7th grade. And with my brother not there, I didn't have that person that was always with me. And so I told Brian that I would meet him after school. And I remember the whole day thinking, that was just a joke. Me and Brian aren't going to fight or anything like that. And when school was over, I forgot. And so I just went to walking home, and one of Brian's friends grabbed me and was like, hey. And I was like, what's up? And he was like, are you still coming to fight Brian? And I was like, yeah. And so we went over to this cul-de-sac that was right next to our school and took off our backpacks and stood there. Neither one of us had never been in a fight. And so, and I want you guys to visualize this. So we're standing over in this grass field next to these houses. Like, we're in the grass. His friends, 2 of his friends were just standing there with their backpacks, holding their backpacks. Somebody was sitting on a bike, I remember that. And then me and Brian are standing there face to face with our fists up, but we're not swinging, we're not doing anything. And we start, talking crap, pushing each other back and forth, getting in each other's face, but nobody's swinging. We're just talking. Brian throws the first punch. Now, I want you to imagine, we're in 7th grade, never been in a fight before. So Brian's first punch was not like a straight-on punch like they teach you in karate to punch forward. His punch was like a swing from the outside towards the side of my head. So he swings really hard from the outside towards the side of my head. Now, I hadn't been in a fight before. So my initial reaction was I immediately jumped to the ground, like as fast as humanly possible. I crouched and, like Spider-Man or something, I literally jumped down so fast that he missed. He whiffed. I mean, the punch he completely missed me. And then, because we were in seventh grade, he didn't kick me or stomp me or anything like that. He actually just stood there and looked at me. And I looked up at him. And I'm down on the ground, like crouched, with my knees bent, with my arms spread out, because I jumped that fast. And I look up at him, and he's like, what are you doing? And I said, well, I don't want to get hit. And so he's like, are you going to get back up? And I was like, well, sure. So I got back up, and then we proceeded to fight, actually start punching each other. But again, both of us were swinging wildly from the outside. So after about 4 punches, neither one of us could hear. Our ears were done. So we're standing there punching each other, and our ears are completely, we knocked the hearing out of our ears, so neither one of us could hear. Our friends were yelling to us because there was an adult that was telling us to stop, and she was screaming from her house that saw us from one of the houses in the cul-de-sac, and our friends were telling us to stop, and they dipped out. And the parent walked all the way up to us while we're punching each other, and she said, stop. And we looked at her, and then this is the saddest thing ever. You guys are going to call me such a punk. You're going to be like, wait a minute, I thought you were a thug. I thought you were hard. We both started crying. Me and Brian were standing there fighting each other, and we literally both started crying. And she grabbed us, took us to the school. I got suspended, and that was my first fight. Now, after that, my dad and my mom had gotten divorced, and my brother the next year moved into middle school with me. This was an important time in my life because my mom didn't know what to do with me and my brother. We weren't in the trouble that caused her to make a decision yet. We'll talk about that in the next episode, but we started to get in trouble. But in 8th grade, we didn't do too much. We were actually kind of secretly good kids. One of the things I did in 8th grade was I drank alcohol for the first time in 8th grade. So what I did was, me and my friend took a wine bottle from his mom's house. We ran away from home, and I'm putting quotes around that because we just basically didn't go home when we were supposed to. We went down in California. There's reservoirs. There's almost underground cities because the reservoirs are so big. And there was actually, the underground was a place that we would go down to, and you'd go down there and you could be down there all day. During the daytime, enough light got into the manholes. And it was clean enough somehow down there because it didn't rain too much in California, where you could just literally walk in this underground, almost like city. And so we went down there into the underground and took this bottle of wine and drank the whole thing. We were blasted, like we were done. It was pretty bad, actually. And so I waited till really late, and then I went home, and I remember my mom, I don't remember if she wasn't home yet or she was sleeping. And I did get in trouble the next day, but this was a time of life when my dad left that my mom started having to work 2 jobs, and she didn't really have time to discipline us. And so I came home from then. That was my first experience with alcohol. I stayed away from alcohol for a minute because I didn't like how I felt afterwards. Drinking a bottle of wine at 12 or 13 or whatever I was, it did not sit very well with me. And then high school came, and I met who basically would derail my life for a good while. This guy named Bebe. And Bebe, and that's, I'm unfortunately, to tell you guys, I don't know his real name. I had friends with nicknames and gang nicknames, but Bebe, I don't know his first name. Bebe was in a gang, and he had gotten kicked out of his school. He came to our school, and he smoked weed, which I had never experimented with at the time. He used to wear like wife beaters to school and sag his pants really, really low. And it was weird for us because he immediately became popular. Like, it was because his name was Bebe, and people knew he was in a gang and that he was, pretty much a thug. And for some reason, my brother and I we really liked him. And one of the things that Bebe did was he rapped. And because Bebe was a rapper, I started freestyle rapping. And that's why, me and Hitch keep saying that one day we're going to battle rap. Well, that's when I started rapping, and I started writing rhymes, and we started freestyling. And I remember one of the craziest things I ever saw Bebe do is when he would smoke, like he smoked cigarettes as well, and he would take a puff on his cigarette, and then he would let the smoke out while rapping, like while freestyling, without the smoke coming out really fast. I still don't know how he did it, but he would just open his mouth and the smoke would come out of his mouth while he was spitting flows. And in ninth grade, that was so amazing. Like the whole school was just taken in by this guy, but he ended up becoming good friends with me. Like me and Bebe immediately linked up because I wanted a leader in my life. I wanted someone in my life that was gonna tell me what to do and that I could aspire to be like. And there was no man, there was no dad. And there wasn't really any community leaders. I didn't go to church that often at the time, and so I really just kind of gravitated towards Bebe. And we're kind of running out of time, but I will. So in the next episode, we'll talk about how Bebe and I, Bebe basically introduced me to weed. He introduced me to stealing cars. He introduced me actually to not chasing girls, but trying to do more than just kiss them. I'll say that much. And he introduced me to the gang. The first gang I joined was a result of my relationship with Bebe. And I almost got signed as a rap artist when I was 15 years old as a result of my relationship with Bebe. And lastly, which I'll try to cram all this in the next episode. We'll call it the Bebe episode or something. He introduced me to group fights, like brawls, because there was an altercation that took place where things got a little out of hand. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will make sure to do a vlog, get my face back on the screen for the next episode. I'll try to actually get the next episode out tomorrow if I can. I'll try to get it out for you guys tomorrow or Friday at the latest, because MLG Columbus is over, and I'm trying to take a break from talking about. I put out 5 videos about MLG Columbus, so hopefully I'll get the next TKS episode out for you guys as soon as humanly possible. This is your boy Kingdom Soldier, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!